Do you have old vision boards hanging out in your environment? Do you have affirmations on your wall? Do you have alchemy boxes or other ways that you've tried to make your dreams real, just hanging out in your creative space, let's say, for example? If you do, I want us to be thinking a little bit about perhaps decluttering them and decluttering old dreams that may actually be holding us back from thinking about what's next. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Michele Tracy Berger. I am a scholar, a creative writer, and a creativity coach. Everything I write tends to fall into speculative fiction and usually has a touch of psychological horror. This is my channel, The Creative Tickle, where we explore all things creative using a fun and accessible approach. And I typically specialize in helping writers deal with loud and pesky inner critics. I also talk a lot about decluttering and its relationship to the creative process. So, welcome. This is, I feel like, an area that people don't really talk much about. When to declutter a dream, when to declutter some items in your environment that were originally giving you energy, but that may over time not really anymore reflect who you are or what you really want. So you might be someone who has done quite a number of vision boards or ways of making your dreams real. So that could be things that you have on your computer, images that you've cut out in your in and pasted down with quotes or inspiring um, tidbits here and there that are a vision board, or some people call them treasure maps or visualization guides. You might have some of those in your environment, and I think that's amazing. However, I also think it's important to periodically assess, is every time you look at that, is it reflective of where you want to go? Is it sort of working, so to speak? Now, sometimes dreams can take a long time to manifest or be made real in the physical environment. I get that. I do think, though, that we need to acknowledge that decluttering is not just removing physical clutter from our environments, but it's also about being more in alignment with our truest goals and desires. And I've noticed in the last year or so, I've made a lot of transitions, and I've just gone through my environment and tried to be a bit more intentional about how I'm holding on to some of those older treasure maps, vision boards, and noticing what maybe I actually have helped to manifest. And manifesting just means making real, but what I've been able to be or attract in my environment versus things that I'm not really as committed to. And one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up is that if you're looking in your environment and every day you see a treasure map or a vision board, and instead of feeling excited about that and what you're working on, you feel actually your energy and your expression of the energy just kind of goes down some. Do you know what I mean? That you're kind of looking at your affirmations or you're looking at your vision boards or treasure maps, and they just don't seem to, they either make you feel bad, you feel guilty because they haven't come yet, you feel angry because they haven't come yet, and maybe it's just dragging you down. And I would say the same thing for affirmations. Now, I want to say, especially if you're new here, and I've written a lot about this, and I talk about this from time to time, that to me that there are three transformational practices that will support your creativity. One of them is decluttering. Another is gratitude practice. And the third one is positive self-talk, also known as affirmations, or at least getting yourself to neutral self-talk, because we tend to actually, as creatives, have a lot more negative self-talk than neutral or positive self-talk. I absolutely believe they are a bedrock. I've done videos on them. I'll link them below on some of those topics. But I think it's also important to acknowledge that there are times that when we're in transition, when maybe we actually have manifested or brought into our existence a number of things that we were working on, that dreams shift and change. And it may not be as helpful anymore to have a reminder of something that you're maybe not as committed to for, or that doesn't seem to be moving forward in your life for whatever reason. So I'd like you to just kind of pause and think about, is there anything in your physical environment that you created that's not really serving you anymore and that actually brings your energy down? And it could be, it could be your to-do lists that are not as helpful in terms of the way you set them up. It could be these other anchors that you've put up there, like a vision board, that's just not serving you. And so I would say, one strategy is to see how you feel about taking those down, maybe journal a little bit, maybe journal about where you are in the dream process, because dreams have a long cycle sometimes. They start from the seed, you incubate the idea, you take action. They're like little toddlers, they grow up to be teenagers, they mature and go out into the world. And, you have to hold that energy for the dream in its expression. And then there are times where, for whatever reason, we are not aligned with the work anymore. Maybe we haven't even let ourselves realize that we don't necessarily want what we thought we did, or we have already experienced a piece of it, and that's enough. And it could be, anything related, big and small. So I would just encourage you, if I'm filming this right now, we're in a little bit past mid-year. This is a great time to look in your environment, look at what you have, and modify, take down, reflect on where you want to be by the end of the year. And how might either you energize, if you look at your vision board and you're like, no, I'm still committed. I still would like to see these things that I have on there, come into my life. So then you decide, okay, I'm going to double down. Like, what action do you need to take, or action steps to help this dream move along? Sometimes that takes courage, it takes pivoting, it takes asking people for help, it may take getting more accountability. So, what do you have in your control that would support this? And then really do it. Just really think about, what do you want to be proud of? So, by the time we hit December 31st and we're kind of putting that energy out there, what do you want to be proud of that you've done that's taken action on your dreams? If you decide, however, this is not in alignment, take those things down and then live with the energy of something new is maybe going to emerge for you, a new dream, a new vision, a new set of actions, and really kind of live with that almost blank canvas feel. We often don't give ourselves opportunities to do that. And it can feel a little unusual, a little stressful, a little different when we do that, but I guarantee you, giving yourself pause and really space will allow for this new thing to emerge. And a friend of mine who's an artist recently gave me, she made this, she makes art, and she basically made this, uh, she took some cardboard, painted it white in a very elegant way, put it on this sort of square block of wood, and sent it to myself and several of her friends. And she was like, this is a new beginning for you. She knew that I happened to be in transition. She's like, think about what could emerge. And I just love that. I just love that idea. It's such a fresh start. It's such a different way of thinking about how to work with our goals. So, highly recommend taking time to do this. Had to go and get that art tile. So this is by my friend, writer and artist Eileen Lambert, and I'll put her information in the description. And she sent this to myself and some others, and she said, I'm sharing a limited number of the cardboard art tiles that once adored my background wall. And think of it as a blank canvas for your own words. It's a place to noodle in your thoughts, dreams, and inspiration. Think of it as a co-creation, which is what life is all about. And I just love this. And so you might want to make your own kind of visual for you blank art tile where it's just a square or rectangle or a circle and it's white and it's that sense of it's waiting for things to fill it as opposed to feeling like you have to fill it. If you like this video, let me know. If you like to hear more of the work around creativity and the creative process, please like and subscribe. And think about, let me know actually, is there a dream that you kind of need to declutter because it no longer serves you? You're no longer committed to it, interested in it. It doesn't move you in the same way that it did before, or you've achieved it. That's the other great thing. You might have achieved it. Let me know what you're thinking out there about this decluttering a dream. Thanks so much.